Yo, what's going on, guys? It's G Miners here. This week is double Nightfall rewards, so by running some grandmasters, you're going to be able to get a screen full of exotics and ascendant shards each and every run. I went through the other night on stream and ran some GM speeds for Devil's Lair, so in this video, I wanted to go over the fastest method for farming that's going to let you get clears in the 10-minute range. I do also know that most players might not play all three classes, or you might only want to farm on certain classes for specific exotics, so I will be going over some additional builds and comps to run at the end of the video that should fit any lineup your team may be taking in. As always, if you guys do enjoy these videos and you want to see more like them on the channel, make sure to drop a like and sub down below. Only around 17% of you guys that watch these videos are actually subbed, so hit that red button and let's get into it. Okay, so starting off, the most optimal strat we found, which was really just the easiest, was running 2 Titans and a Warlock. This is the strat we used and ran for a few hours, and it let us get a personal fastest clear time of 10 minutes and 1 second. Not the fastest clear ever, and I'm sure there are much faster team comps and builds to use, but this setup is pretty mindless. The 2 Titans are going to be running the Heart of Inmost Light Storm Grenade build. This is what myself and Ice were running. I will have my version of the build linked below if you guys do want to see it in full detail, but the essence is just an Arc Titan with Storm Grenades, Touch of Thunder, and Spark of Magnitude, and you'll also be running Heart of Inmost Light as the exotic with Elemental Ordnance, Elemental Charge, 2 copies of Firepower, Bomber, and Overload Arc Grenades. This lets you deal with overloads, which are the main champion type in this GM, just by spamming your nades, and the Storm Grenades melt everything and then roam to add clear for you as well. And then if you do want, you can run something like Anti-Barrier Sniper or Arbalest to deal with anti-barriers and actual snipers. For Barons, on the other hand, made our add clear also insane, and then I highly recommend an Arc Linear Fusion Rifle. This is a double special setup, but you should get enough ammo drops throughout the strike, and even though Bungie said they fixed double special heavy ammo drops, it still seems to work. Rek, on the other hand, who was the Warlock on our squad, was running some different things throughout the runs for his kinetic and heavy weapons, but the main essence of his build was just Well of Radiance and then Starfire Protocol. There are 3 main spots where we ended up using Well of Radiance to help our run, which I will be going over, and Starfire ends up actually being better for building super than something like Phoenix Protocol. Plus, it allows you to actually use the Fusion Nade spam build, so the Warlock can actually add clear and take care of solar shields. On top of this, he was running Divinity, which allowed us to more consistently stun overloads and bake them way quicker, but the main reason for this is also to take out the Briggs in the tank section of the strike because they don't have a crit spot until you deal enough damage. Other than this, I think he found a Stasis Fusion Rifle and a Void LMG to fit the setup best. So now that you guys know everything we were running, how do you speed through this GM? The strat that we ran for this is actually pretty simple. First and foremost, you can Sparrow Fast the first Overload champion here. He does not need to be killed for Platinum rewards, so we just rush through. And then once you get to this room here, we just prioritize killing snipers, as you can see me doing, and then just spamming grenades and forbearance until everything else is dead to start the wave phase. The main thing that you do want to do here is have a Titan up in the top right, spawn trapping adds with their grenades, while the other 2 players worry about the champs and the other remaining adds for each wave. During the first wave, 1 overload will spawn in the middle door, which the other 2 players can easily deal with. During wave 2, we drop Well of Radiance for the first time on this catwalk because this is where you end up getting swarmed. Once again, we still have 1 Titan controlling the adds on the upper right-hand side, while the other 2 deal with everything else. Also, make sure to prioritize the wizards here with fusion grenades, and then once the Titan has killed all the right-hand adds, they can also move over to help add clear the rest, including the anti-barrier knight that spawns. Lastly, on wave 3, there are 2 more overload champions. One will again spawn in the middle door, which you can immediately bake, and the other one will spawn top right. We would personally just let this one come to us, but if you wanted to go even faster, spawn trapping him would help. If all goes well, you can be done this first room in around 4 minutes, and then you're on to the tank section. For the tank, we would drop our second Well of Radiance here and make sure to break a leg instantly because this would help you get a good angle on the crit to bake it. Then we would instantly kill the Brig closest to us with Divinity, along with the anti-barrier and the overload champs that spawn in this area too. Then we would hit the second and final Brig, and then after this, all the remaining champs should just be up where the tank was killed, and you can easily clean everything up and go straight into the boss room. Lastly, for the boss, we would literally just spam nades on these sides and sit back mid. Storm nades won't actually do much to the boss as it moves around, and I think they fall to the ground anyways, so try to use those for ad clear instead, and then we would just shoot linears for damage. When the additional servitors would spawn in after each phase, this is where Arbalest and Commemoration came in clutch for killing them quickly. During second damage phase or right after is when things would get a bit wild, so we would end up dropping Well of Radiance for the third time here. And then all you need to do is kill the last two overloads. One should drop from the ship, and another I believe comes out of a door, and then once these are dead, just bake the boss and collect your rewards. If you guys do end up bringing in a hunter, I would highly recommend this build here, which obliterates GMs, linked in the description below. This is just gameplay of the Disgraced, which the hunter build melted in, and it should work pretty similar in this GM as well. Just need to be prioritizing killing champs in something like the tank room to make it efficient, and then also make sure you manage keeping your stacks up to ×3 for combination blow, which is pretty easy. For additional warlocks, I would honestly just chain Well of Radiance with Starfire protocol builds. Super uptime should be 100%, making you borderline invincible, and having one additional person on something like Aeons would also allow you to keep your heavy ammo up for the champs. If you do end up taking in 3 Titans, I would honestly just recommend all 3 on Storm Nades, or potentially one on Bubble or Banner Shield if you guys do need that extra survivability. Otherwise, just mix and match some of these builds with whatever comp you want to bring in to farm. I do plan on streaming some more runs tonight if you guys do want to stop by on my Twitch and see how it all comes together. A link to that is in the description below if you do want to stop by. I figured this weekend would be the best time for most players to farm, so if you do have any questions about team comp or want any more details on the strats we used, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. As always, have a good one. Peace.